The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
So one of the stories I heard actually over Pesach was from a Rabbi Ginsburg, who was a very well-known mechanech. He said this, I'll show this, so sorry for repeating. So Rabbi Ginsburg is a well-known mechanech. He used to be principal. So now he's teaching in few seminaries here in New York, in Brooklyn, actually. And he said that at one point he's getting older and he was thinking that he moved to Tom's River. And this, by the way, always happens to people that move to Lakewood, Tom's River. They think they're going to continue their commute and can't last. It doesn't last. It's very, very hard. Anyway, so he said, you know what, maybe next year, this should be my last year, and, I should find something less over there, or I'll retire, sit and learn more. He's the one that writes all the Nesiva Shaloms in English. Anyway, he said, but I got my message. What was the message? He said he was teaching in one of the seminaries, and the girls, he said over Gematria, and the girls will say, Rabbi, do you really believe in Gematrias? Oh, he said as follows. He says, no, absolutely, it is. It's in the Torah. It's part of the Torah. And yeah, maybe he says, I would agree with you, Sheva Brachas Gematrias, is because when we could play with it, make things work. But even that, you do make it work. It has something to it, but that I hear you. But when you see it in a sefer, and it's coming from responsible gadol, then there's it definitely is, even though it has these leeways, but that's real. That is very real. And even names, everyone's name has gematria, means something. So all the girls jumped up and says, Rabbi, what does my name mean? He says, I'll tell you the truth, I don't know. I have to look it up. But if you want, write down his index cards, write down your name on an index card and give it to me, and I'll look it up and I'll let you know, next year, 2 times a week. It was Monday and Wednesday. I'll what your names mean. So he said he goes home. Is that my phone? He said he goes home and he has a trick book. He has a sefer it's not in publication anymore. No, it's not me. It's not in publication anymore. And this sefer goes through from 1 to 500 and every single, just a number from 1 to 500, and it has like a few psukim that equals that number, right? So all he had to do was, he had to, he had to figure out the name. Yocheved is 127, and then he looks up 127, and he picks the most apropos one. Well, a nice phrase from the Torah on that equals 127, and he wrote it down. And he went through his 30 kids, and he wrote it down. He comes to class the next day. They all, let me see my paper, and they all liked it. Oh, wow, it means a beautiful flower. It means perech that's blossoming. The girls love this stuff, right? So, you know what I mean? Whatever he had. One girl had folded the index cards. She opens up the index card and she shrieks and she's, wow, I don't believe it. And she runs out of class. She was so excited. What? No. You'll get it. And he asks, she comes back in middle of class with class started, and she sits in class, and people asked, well, no, nothing. She didn't want to share with her friends around her what it was. Fine. So he asked somebody after class, like, what did it say? That nobody knew. They said, okay, what's her name? So her name is Devora, whatever. So he says, okay, well, I'm going to try to figure it out. He goes back home afterwards. He looks up Devora. He realized Devora was 100, equals 100. And he looks at the 100 and he sees 3-4 psukim. Nothing jumped up like, you're going to be a star in Klal Yisrael. Nothing like that jumped up. So, okay, he didn't know what it was. So curiosity killed the cat. He didn't want to get killed. And he kept on doing his job and teaching. And at the end of the year, towards the end of the year, this girl came over to him, was talking, and this girl really grew. Like, she was much more involved in the class, and she was a mavakesh, and she was really, really grew. So at the end of the year, she says, you really changed me in that, especially that message from Hashem. What are you talking about? She said, okay, I'll tell you. I didn't share with you, but I'll tell you what happened. Would you like to hear? He says, please. I was dying to hear. So she says as follows, in the beginning of the year, before this class, was El. And you were talking a lot about El and about tshuva and coming closer to Hashem. And this is the exact time that tshuva is easily accepted. It's so much easier. And I really took heart to that. And she says, I'll be honest with you, Rabbi, I'm coming from a place that I've done, nobody knows, but I've done some really bad things that a Jewish girl shouldn't do. And that really made me feel bad, but I felt terrible about it. But your speeches about El gave me hope, and I decided I'm going to do Tshuva Gemura. So I did Tshuva Gemura, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm never going back to that place. But then I was so worried that maybe my tshuva wasn't accepted. So for 2 weeks, before even Rosh Hashanah, I davened to Hashem, please show me a sign that my tshuva was accepted. And right before Rosh Hashanah, you gave this class and you brought back the cards. And I was crying for 2 weeks for a sign from Hashem. And I opened up my gematria of my name, and it says, Kihi Loi Cheta, for she has not sinned. And that freaked me out. It means that I didn't even sin. And I ran out, I called one of my rabbis who knew me then as I was, and I told him the story, and I said, so Kihi Loi Cheta, what is, I know it means he didn't sin, but what does that mean? He says, that's the highest form of tshuva, is that the sin is erased. It's even, it's even a good thing now because it made you go higher. It's like zechuyas, but the sin is gone. Of course, it's the best thing. So I was so excited and I was so pumped that I decided I'm going to keep on growing. And that's exactly what I did. And I really became, in your class, because of your class, a very, very special person. So now he says, now I got my message. Here I was thinking, all right, I don't have to schlep in 2 hours from Tom's River back and forth. He says, I got my message so loud and clear. If I could change a life, inadvertently I wasn't even like doing my thing. I'm talking about tshuva, but I did the shtick with the thing. And I could have picked other things. Kihi Loi Cheta is not, for the average, doesn't sin. It's nice, but that was all a message, all a little nace, and that was a message for all of us. We should see our nisim. We should go through our Kriyas Yamsuf. We should get out of our Mitzrayim. We should have the brachas. We should be able to be Moisei Nefesh and change our nature in Mitzvah Hashem. And we should see our messages loud and clear. Thanks so much for coming. We'll see you in Mitzvah Hashem next week.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org